Welcome to Lakers News Fan Report, your most trusted source for everything Lakers. I'm bringing you the latest update, breaking news, insider information, and deep analysis on our beloved purple and gold. Today I've got something that every Lakers fan needs to hear. Something that could impact how we approach our next few games and potentially shift the rotation in ways that might surprise you. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to share affects not just one game, but could reveal opportunities we didn't even know existed within our roster. Look, we're at a critical point in the season right now. Every game matters. Every possession counts. And when you're building chemistry, when you're trying to establish your identity as a team, consistency becomes everything. The Lakers have been working hard to find that perfect balance, that sweet spot where veterans and young talent come together to create something special. Over the past few weeks, we've seen some really encouraging signs. The defense has been more engaged, the ball movement has improved, and certain players have stepped up in ways that have genuinely impressed me. We're starting to see the vision that the coaching staff had when they put this roster together. We're starting to see why certain moves were made, why certain players were brought in, and how all these pieces can fit together. But here's the reality of professional basketball that every fan needs to understand. Injuries happen. Unexpected situations arise. And when they do, teams have two choices. They can panic and fall apart, or they can see it as an opportunity for others to step up and prove their worth. The great teams, the championship caliber teams, always choose the second option. Now, before I get into the specifics of what's happening right now, I want you to think about depth for a moment. Think about how important it is to have players who are ready when their number is called. Think about those championship teams we've celebrated in Lakers history. They didn't just have great starters. They had guys coming off the bench who could change games, who could maintain or even increase the intensity when the starters needed rest. That's what separates good teams from great teams. That's what allows you to navigate the grueling NBA season successfully. And right now, the Lakers might be about to find out just how deep this roster really is. Let me take you back to early November. Since November 2nd, we've had a player who's been absolutely crucial to what we've been trying to accomplish on both ends of the floor. This player has been versatile enough to come off the bench and make an immediate impact, but also capable of sliding into the starting lineup when needed. That kind of flexibility is invaluable in today's NBA. Over the last 10 games, this player has been giving us solid production across the board. We're talking about consistent scoring, playmaking ability, rebounding contribution, and most importantly, defensive intensity, the kind of two-way impact that coaches dream about. The kind of player who makes everyone around him better simply by being on the court. The numbers tell a compelling story. 9.5 points per game might not sound like superstar numbers, but when you consider the role, when you consider the minutes distribution, when you consider the efficiency and the impact beyond the stat sheet, you start to understand the value. 3 assists per game showing the playmaking ability. 2.5 rebounds demonstrating the willingness to do the dirty work. And here's the kicker. 2 steals per game. That's elite defensive instincts right there. All of this happening in about 27 minutes per game. That's the kind of production that wins games. That's the kind of consistency that allows a team to build an identity. That's the kind of performance that makes you realize just how important certain players are to your system. But now we're facing a situation that could test our depth. We're facing a scenario where this production might not be available for our upcoming game against the Dallas Mavericks. And this isn't just any game. This is a matchup against a legitimate contender, a team with one of the best offensive players in the world, a team that will test every aspect of our roster. The player I'm talking about is dealing with a physical issue that has him listed as questionable for Friday's game. And that player is Marcus Smart. Yes, the defensive specialist, the veteran presence, the guy who's been so important to establishing our defensive identity this season is dealing with back spasms that could keep him out of this crucial matchup. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Back spasms? That sounds serious. How long could this keep him out? What does this mean for our defensive scheme? These are all legitimate concerns, and I'm going to address each one of them with the same honesty and analysis you've come to expect from this channel. First, let's talk about back spasms specifically. In the medical world, back spasms are essentially involuntary contractions of the muscles in the back. They can be incredibly painful and can severely limit mobility and athletic performance. For a basketball player, especially one whose game is built on defensive intensity, lateral quickness, and physical engagement, back spasms can be particularly problematic. The good news is that back spasms, while painful, are often short-term issues. With proper treatment, rest, and management, players can return relatively quickly. We're not talking about a structural injury. We're not talking about something that requires surgery or extended rehabilitation. This is a muscular issue that, while uncomfortable, is typically manageable. The fact that Smart is listed as questionable rather than out is actually encouraging. It means the medical staff believes there's a legitimate chance he could play. It means the injury isn't severe enough to automatically rule him out. It means we're in a wait-and-see situation where Smart's comfort level and the team's medical assessment will determine his availability. But let's be real for a moment. Even if Smart is available, there's a question about how effective he can be if he's dealing with back discomfort. Marcus Smart's game is built on physicality. He's the guy who takes charges, who fights through screens, who guards the opponent's best perimeter player regardless of size. If his back is compromised, can he really play the style of basketball that makes him so valuable? This is where coaching decisions become crucial. Do you play Smart at 70% and risk making the injury worse? Or do you sit him, let him heal properly, and trust your depth to step up for one game? These are the kinds of decisions that coaching staffs grapple with constantly, and there's rarely a clear right answer. What I can tell you is that if Smart does miss this game, or if he's limited, the Lakers have options. And this is where things get really interesting for us as fans, because we might be about to see some players get extended. Opportunities that could reveal a lot about this roster. Dalton Knecht is the first name that comes to mind. The rookie has shown flashes of brilliance this season. His shooting ability is undeniable, and in a league where three-point shooting is more valuable than ever, having a player who can space the floor and knock down shots is crucial. If Knecht gets extended minutes against Dallas, we could see him really showcase what he can do with a larger role. Then there's Gabe Vincent. Vincent has championship experience from his time in Miami. He knows what it takes to win at the highest level. He's a capable defender and a smart player who understands how to play within a system. More minutes for Vincent could provide veteran stability and allow the Lakers to maintain their defensive principles even without Smart in the lineup. And let's not forget Jake LaRavia. LaRavia represents the kind of versatile, switchable defender that modern NBA teams covet. If he gets an opportunity to play significant minutes, we could discover that we have more depth at that position than we initially realized. This is actually one of the most exciting aspects of this situation. Yes, potentially losing Smart for a game or two is concerning, but it also creates opportunities. It creates chances for younger players to prove themselves. It creates situations where the coaching staff can experiment with different lineup combinations. It creates possibilities that might not have existed otherwise. Think about some of the great Lakers teams of the past. Some of their most important role players emerged because injuries created opportunities. Players who might have remained on the bench suddenly got their chance and seized it. Those moments of adversity often revealed hidden strengths within the roster. I'm not saying Smart's potential absence is a good thing. Obviously, we want all our players healthy and available. But I am saying that this could be a moment where we discover something valuable about our depth. This could be a moment where a young player takes a step forward in their development. This could be a moment that actually makes us stronger in the long run. The matchup against Dallas makes this even more intriguing. The Mavericks have Luka Doncic, one of the most difficult players in the NBA to guard. They have Kyrie Irving, another elite offensive talent. They have shooters and playmakers throughout their roster. This is exactly the kind of game where you want your best defensive players available, but it's also the kind of game where stepping up against elite competition can make a statement. If Knecht, Vincent, or LaRavia can contribute meaningfully in this game, it sends a message to the rest of the league about the Lakers' depth. It shows that we're not just a team dependent on a few key players. It shows that we have legitimate options throughout the roster. From a strategic standpoint, the coaching staff will need to adjust. Smart's defensive versatility allows for certain schemes and coverages that might not be possible without him. But good coaches adapt. They find ways to maximize the strengths of whoever is available. They create game plans that put their players in position to succeed regardless of who's on the floor. I expect we'll see more switching defense if Smart is out. We'll probably see more help side rotations and more communication-dependent schemes. We might see different players tasked with guarding Doncic and Irving throughout the game, using fresh legs and different looks to try to disrupt their rhythm. Offensively, losing Smart's playmaking and decision-making is a factor, but it also means more touches for other players. It means more opportunities for guys like Neck to get shots up. It means Vincent might have more chances to facilitate. It means the ball might move differently, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. The key is going to be energy and effort. Smart brings intensity every single night. That's part of what makes him so valuable. Whoever steps into his minutes needs to match that intensity. They need to bring that same competitive fire. They need to show that the Lakers' defensive identity isn't dependent on one player, but is a team-wide commitment. Looking at Smart's recent production, those numbers I mentioned earlier, it's clear he's been a significant contributor, averaging nearly 10 points while also providing playmaking, rebounding. An elite defense is exactly the kind of balanced contribution that helps teams win. Replacing that production won't be easy, but spreading it across multiple players might actually work in our favor. What I'm most curious about is how this affects our rotation moving forward, even after Smart returns. If Neck has a breakout game, does that earn him more consistent minutes? If Vincent shows he can handle a larger role, does that change how the coaching staff thinks about the backup guard rotation? These are the kinds of questions that could be answered in the next few games. The beautiful thing about the NBA season is that it's a marathon, not a sprint. One game, even against a quality opponent like Dallas, isn't going to define our season. But how we respond to adversity, how we handle unexpected challenges, how we develop our depth, these things absolutely matter in the long run. I'm choosing to be optimistic about this situation. Yes, I'd rather have Smart healthy and available, but I also believe in this roster. I believe in the young players who might get opportunities. I believe in the coaching staff's ability to adjust and adapt. And I believe that sometimes the best discoveries happen when you're forced to look beyond your usual rotation. So what do you think, Lakers Nation? Are you worried about Smart's potential absence, or are you excited to see what our depth players can do with extended minutes? Who do you want to see step up if Smart can't go? Do you think Necht is ready for a bigger role? Can Vincent provide that veteran stability we need? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I really want to hear how you're feeling about this situation. And remember, if you want to stay updated on Smart's status, on lineup decisions, on every development with our Lakers, you need to be subscribed to Lakers News Fan Report. Hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And share this video with your fellow Lakers fans. We're in this together, and together we'll navigate whatever challenges come our way. Let's go, Lakers!